It's time for a little Funky Friday. From their funky hidden headquarters, your hosts, Keith and Gary.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Pop Culture Minefield. I see we got some people in the chat. Looking forward to hearing from everybody about the episode, because our special guest today is my good friend, filmmaker, TV director, writer, extraordinary human being, Josh Becker.
Hello.
And for those of you that are fans of the Evil Dead and all that shit, he is part of the Detroit Mafia. And,
I worked on the first Evil Dead.
That's right. You were there for all three of those things.
I was, but I really worked on the first one.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. When I was looking back, I went and watched some of the making of videos they've got on Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. And I got such a kick, but I wish they'd shown more of the behind-the-scenes stuff than they did with what you guys were doing and how you pulled it off.
Yeah, well, there isn't any. So there's no other crew shooting us while we were making Evil Dead.
Everybody was all hands on deck. I get you.
Yeah, and for much of that movie, there were, 6 of us. So there weren't any extra people. I mean, there was 5 weeks in Tennessee where I was loading the camera, taking care of the camera. Sam was operating, but loading and unloading, take care of all the film, lighting, and running sound. So I would turn the NAG, I would get all the lighting done, get the camera ready, Sam would operate, and then I would turn the NAG on and grab the boom. And so anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, I get it. I wanted to show something real quick here. It's one of the people that you've had part of the Detroit Mafia is your relationship with this man. Joe LaDuca.
Who continues?
You used him on every film, right, that you've worked on?
Not WARPATH.
That's right. You strayed from him on that one because he could not get the feel you were looking for.
No, he was busy.
Yeah. But
no, he was busy.
Would you consider him one of your musician friends too? Because I know you like to get together with musicians and jam.
He's most certainly a musician friend. I mean, he's a musician and a friend. So, yeah, he does the Chucky thing on TV.
That's really good.
Yeah, well, he's been scoring that for a while.
Yeah, I've always been like, it always made me feel bad that he didn't have such a prominent role in the third Evil Dead film, The Army of Darkness.
Well, that's where Sam was moving up in the world of Hollywood and switched halfway through that movie between Joe and Danny Elfman.
Yeah, and it was so different. But at the same time, I love how you have always maintained that relationship with people. And I think that really good filmmakers have a tendency of having their posse of people that they like to work with.
Uh-huh.
And it's clear you've had yours.
I certainly have, yes. Kay Davis, has cut all my stuff. She cut Evil Dead 2, and she's cut everything I've done, pretty much. Not the TV. Not the TV stuff, but...
So I'm curious if I can jump in with a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I used to work closely with Evil Dead the musical here in Las Vegas. I did all of their. In fact, I have that's an actual chainsaw that the actor who played Ash wore in the musical. I've got, met Bruce Campbell plenty of times through the musical, got all kinds of cool swag and stuff. Did you have anything to do with the musical?
No.
No? Oh, did you ever see it or did you even know of it?
No.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Okay.
I know of it, certainly.
Okay.
The lead chorus, the lead showgirl in Warpath had just been in the Evil Dead, the musical, somewhere in Michigan.
Okay.
And
yeah, we were on the strip in Las Vegas. No, I was saying we were on the strip in Las Vegas for years, but not anymore, unfortunately.
Yes. Well, it is getting to be old news, although there is a new Evil Dead coming out.
Yes. Yeah, I heard that. So.
Yeah.
Steven, you got a question to lead it?
How did you run into Gary and Keith, and are you still in therapy?
No, I'm not in therapy. My therapist actually threw me out. She said I was doing fine and didn't need to see her if I did call. Gary, whatever the hell his name is.
Exactly.
We met a million years ago when he showed Running Time at in Champaign-Urbana, Illinois.
Yeah, the first time we met was through Bruce, who introduced us, because I did an interview with him for the magazine I worked for. And he's like, you got to meet my friend Josh. And I'm like, okay, I'm game. And
so that was the late 90s.
Our first phone call was 4 hours. Yours and my first phone call was 4 hours. We did nothing but talk about movies.
Right, so that was the late 90s, correct?
1997. Because it was still called Blood Money when you and I first met.
That was my first year of college.
Yeah, and I was working at the University of Illinois.
Right.
And going to school there. And working for the magazine, The Octopus, which was Champaign-Urbana's alternate news magazine. And I was going to school learning film stuff, and then I quit, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting anything from this. Film school sucks.
Whatever gets you there, If I thought film school was going to actually get me a job, I'd have stuck with it.
Yeah. And I learned more from talking to you and other filmmakers than I did from school, and just doing it on my own, doing stuff. But I learned quickly I don't like people.
That's bad.
I have issues with actors, and
that's a problem.
So I'm like, how am I going to be a director if I can't tolerate being around these guys?
Same goes for us.
That's because you're an artist.
Yeah, it's true. But I wanted to get into, because the 70s is when you really started. You were doing your short films, and then you left Detroit before anybody else, and you went to Hollywood.
I did. I went going Hollywood.
Yep.
Yes. I've been told by those guys they were all kind of mystified and awed, possibly, but inspired. Even though I came back a year later with my tail between my legs going, they don't like me in Hollywood. Let's all make movies in Detroit like we used to do. And they all went, well, we haven't stopped. You were the one who went away. And I went, okay, good. I have a script. First thing. That's how my book ends.
And here's the
getting
book.
Back to Detroit with my.
That's the book cover
I got back.
For you.
I can't see it.
Oh, I'll put it back up. There it is.
I mean, I know it. Uh-huh.
That was Josh's face in the 70s.
So I knew this would happen. Hold on. Yeah. Anyway. So that book ends, spoiler alert, with me getting back to Detroit with an 18-page script and subsequently making it with Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi, and those guys.
Right.
The final round.
And of course, you started working on Cabin in, what was it? The original book, Book of the Dead. Was that the title for Evil Dead?
Within the Woods. No, I was
Within
not
the
on that. That's when I went back to Hollywood the second time.
The second time. So that
I was in
what they shot on
Hollywood when
16,
they made
right?
Within the Woods.
They shot that on 16.
No, that was
right?
Super 8.
Super 8. And
Super
then when
8.
he came back, he got the money together through a dentist and other people, as I recall, to produce Evil Dead. And then you started working with them on that. And as I recall, you also had the Coen brothers on there, too.
Wait. What are you saying? I mean, we were all
Evil
making
Dead.
movies. We've been making Super 8 movies for years.
Yeah, I'm talking about when you came back to work on Evil Dead.
Right. I didn't come back necessarily for that. I came back because Hollywood, beat me up and sent me back. And I got back, and Evil Dead was just coming together. And I went, well, fuck it, I'll work on that. They're going to pay me.
Right. And
not much, but.
And some of the other people that worked with you on that were the Coen brothers that worked in the back end of Evil Dead, right? Joel and Ethan Coen.
Joel was the assistant editor.
Ah, okay.
Of Evil Dead, which was initially the post-production was in New York. And he and Ethan were living in New York at that time. And that's how it was, is they hired this editor, Edna Paul, and Joel was her assistant. And
what did you think of the whole experience?
Them.
What did you think of the whole experience?
Of making Evil Dead 1?
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Yeah, what did you think about your experience on that film? Because I don't think I've ever asked you that.
Well, it's a many-year thing. People don't realize that. It's not like we went to Tennessee, shot for 10 weeks, and the movie was done. I mean, it took years to make that movie. We started in 79, and we were still shooting in 81, I think.
Wow.
And it was going through post and going through post and going through post. I mean, it was a multi-year process. And, it was kind of like a joke after a while. You ever going to get that movie done? That kind of thing. And what did I think? As Bruce Campbell and I have discussed, it was a good thing to get the worst production of our lives out of the way first.
Out of the way. Yep. That's interesting.
So that we had this comparison for everything else we ever did. And everything you go, well, it's fucked up, but it's not Evil Dead. I mean, nothing could be that fucked up.
We have Diana Hawks in the chat. Hello from one of your favorite Xena fans. Please tell the story again of Anthony Quinn.
Diana, but is that Tessa? Is that Diana or Tessa?
Her name is Diana Hawks. And she wants you to tell that story again of how Quinn was pressuring you to build a useless platform for him.
Yes, on Hercules, where I came in the morning. We were shooting in a barn set, and on the lot of Renaissance Pictures in Auckland. And I knew exactly how I wanted to shoot the scene and had storyboarded it and was completely prepared. And I got on the set, and finally, Anthony Quinn, to get him on the set, first he has to have a meeting with the producer, the director, and the star so that he can yell as loud as he can of what shit he's about to do and how fucking awful the script is. And is there any way to make it any better before we shoot? Which, of course, there isn't, because we're shooting now. And he would demand that the young writers who were there, Andy and Dan, he referred to them as Shakespeare and Homer, And anyway, and it's okay, fine. He goes through his little fit. We all go back to work, and I've got the barn set all going and lit and everything, and he comes out, and I go, okay, you come in from there, you walk over to there, Hercules comes over this way, two of you talk over the shoulder. I do a big pullback, we're out of this. And he says, no, that's not what's happening at all. And we all look up, and the producer is there, Eric Grundeman, and we all look at Mr. Anthony Quinn, and I say, and what is it that we actually are doing? And he goes, okay, I'm bored with, I don't enter. I'm just there, okay? And I'm up there, up at the top of the set. And I'm on top of like a whole bunch of boxes or something. And there's nothing like that on the set. So I can see Eric Grundeman, our producer, going, boxes? What boxes? And he goes, now I'm up at the top of all these things, and I'm pretty old. He was 80. So I'm going to need some kind of handrail to hold on to. So that's got to be there. And Eric, our producer, and of course me, the director, we thought we were shooting this scene now. And suddenly now a whole platform of boxes has to be built with a rail up near the ceiling. And so it's pure panic, and art department carpenters come in, and things get, and I shot it the way he told me to shoot it. Afterward, and we had one horse. I'll stop with this story. We had one horse in this barn that was either urinating or defecating all day long. And at a point, when I was still trying to understand what it was that he intended for this scene to be, I said, but I've got it all planned in a really cool way. And he screamed at me on the set, David Lean moved 1,000 horses on Lawrence of Arabia because of a suggestion of mine. And, well, okay. So then, so after the scene, we shoot the scene, and it goes all right. It ended up, most of it getting cut out. He came up to me when he was in his jogging outfit and everything, and he came up to me and he went, I'm really sorry about yelling at you on the set there, son. And I said, I blew my own punchline. At that point, when he screamed at me, David Lean moved 1,000 horses. I said to him, this was my big line, I missed it. I said, Mr. Quinn, I have one horse and I'll move it anywhere you want. And afterward, he came up to me and he apologized and said, I'm sorry to yell at you on the set. And I have to go further now, because this was maybe one of my greatest ideas as a director. Is I went back to the hotel that night and I went, okay, that motherfucker won't do anything I tell him. He's going to. Because I'm the director and I don't give a shit. If he's Anthony Quinn, fuck him. And so I decided from there on out, I would start every scene with his close-up. Because let's face it, Anthony Quinn is most interesting in a close-up than a medium or a wide shot. So we're starting with his close-up, and I've got him on my mark, and I'm in tight, so it's like either step in or just be there, do all your dialogue. And he went, wow, we're starting with my close-up, that's great. And he gives me everything he's got on his close-up. And then I back off to the medium shot and say, now you have to come in and hit that mark. Because if you don't, I have to reshoot the close-up. And he goes, oh. And he hit my mark because he wasn't going to reshoot his close-up.
There you go. I love that story.
And, yeah.
By the way, Josh, there's somebody special to you and I in the chat. Shirley Lavasseur. There's Shirley.
Shirley. Where?
Look at that. She's. I put her down below. It's
in that little circle.
Yep. She says, "How's it
Hello,
going?"
Shirley.
Yeah, Shirley. It's so funny. You were my first job doing movie art, and then I became your webmaster because nobody else knew how to do that, and I knew how to do it, and I made your website.
Well, no, you had already created the website.
Yeah, I designed everything, but then my career started getting more demanding. So I asked if we could find somebody to take over, and Shirley is the one who took over your website for years. She did a great job.
Yes,
I love.
Where
Shirley.
is the?
And
so anyone else? Anyone got a question for me? Not here that I'm on the internet.
I do have a question.
We are talking to film and television director Josh Becker, who's also just happens to be a close friend of mine, and somebody I've spent probably 1,000 hours on the phone with since we became friends. I wouldn't be surprised with some of the stuff we talked about, but glad everybody. Oh, Shirley just wrote. And I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, she said, while working on the website. She would always come to me for help. I love Shirley. She's such a sweetheart.
Yes.
And Diana Hawks says, "It's me, Diana. You and I talk about your cats often on your Q&A. What is your current cat situation?"
I have 2 boy cats. One's right here. I'm not going to. Anyway, Ike and Tommy. And Ike is a good cat, and Tommy's the weirdest cat I've ever had, who won't meet any person that comes in my house. He hides. So
and you were telling me that he only comes out at night or something?
Well, just for when I'm here. I mean, and frequently he's hiding now. I don't know where he is. So and he's not really big on coming out to eat either. He's a weird cat. Tomcat. So, Tommy.
I actually do have a question.
Yeah, man, shoot, dude.
But wait. Here, I'll disturb him. Here.
Oh, that's a beautiful cat. Once I ignore mine long enough, he'll hop up on my lap while I'm on the show with you guys, I'm sure. But I love this, and I wanted to ask you if you wrote this. Everybody struggles with something. The real question asked is, how does anyone get through life? After all, reality is just a crutch for people who can't handle drugs. I love it. Was that a line you wrote?
No, I think it was Hunter Thompson.
Oh, okay.
Or somebody good. No, it's Robin Williams.
Was it Robin Williams? Okay.
Yeah, reality is a
crutch
for people who can't handle drugs.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That was
that was Robin Williams. It's even better coming from him.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll check that out. I was doing some, I guess you could call it research on you earlier, and that was the blurb for Morning, Noon, and Night. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. I wonder where that came from. So, Robin Williams.
But I ended up using another quote that is an old quote, and I don't even remember who said it, but I think about it frequently and it's a line in Morning, Noon, and Night of every day is a miniature eternity.
Yeah.
So
every day is a miniature eternity, right?
Yeah. So, and that's, of course, Morning, Noon, and Night and WARPATH, both on streaming video. You can watch them anytime you want.
Ooh, hey, yeah, let's get that plug in. Where at? Streaming where?
They stream all over the place. You can get at them from Prime or Hulu or whatever.
Prime.
I mean,
Yeah, it's available on all of the major streaming services.
Right.
Morning, Noon, and Night. I did the movie
Except
poster
Netflix.
for that.
You did that poster?
Netflix.
I did the poster for Morning, Noon, and Night.
I love that style. That's real similar to that other artist.
Can you put up Morning, Noon, and Night?
Saul Bass.
Yeah.
Gary. Can you put up Morning, Noon, and Night?
Yeah, I'll grab it real quick.
I love that style. It's very kind of like 60s, you know.
Yeah, 50s.
Yeah, 50s, 60s. You know, flat design, real clean.
And
I like it.
I was actually trying to be metaphorical with a lot of the stuff I was doing in it.
Well, you
lines-
came in after I had already made up my own poster, my own temp
Yeah, it got
poster,
rejected.
and nobody would touch the thing. So I went, Gary, you know, it needs a new approach. And you went, fine, I'll find an absolutely new approach. I went, oh, well, good. And you did. And I like it better than mine by a mile.
And here it is. This is the poster.
Yeah.
And the 3 lines with where the title is meant to be cocaine lines.
Oh, no kidding. I never knew that.
Yeah. Because you see the powder, the debris. And I was trying to subtly, I didn't want to tell anybody because I was afraid if I told anybody, it would get rejected. So I kept my mouth shut. Because it was the drugs is what got it rejected by the first time, yours. There's too much drug reference. And
well,
so
it was. I mean, it was lines of cocaine and a zigzag thing and whatever. No, I was taking. That's why I'm not a graphic designer. See, I'm very literal, and you know, you say whatever it is, and I want to show it. I don't want to interpret it into, I mean, something else. I mean, that's not my job as a director.
No, that's for your art guys to take care of. And, you know, and I of course, ended up working with another mutual friend of yours, Gary Jones, who I like a lot. He's been on our show, too.
Yes.
But the next film that I did for you was your last film, was WARPATH, and here's that poster.
And that's available on streaming video as well.
And you can actually download the high-definition copy of the poster on the website, beckerfilms.com. And I'm going to actually put that in the chat. http://.
So while he's doing that, totally different subject. Speaking of Robin Williams earlier, have you guys seen that dude, that Jamie dude that did that Robin test footage thing a couple months ago?
I don't know if you're even aware of that. Yeah, he did.
Jamie DaCosta?
Yeah,
Jamie
that guy.
DaCosta did spot on Robin Williams. It was very emotional.
Yeah, I just came across it yesterday. And I was blown away. I mean, he looks like him. He sounds like him. It's like it's not an impersonation. It's an embodiment. And, you know, it's crazy.
Have you seen his Harrison Ford as Han Solo? That's
yeah.
Also good.
I
haven't.
In fact, I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? Did they change his face? What's going on? That was really good. He sounded like Harrison Ford, all grumpy and shit.
I'll check that out. I just found it. A Smuggler's Trade.
Diana Hawks asked, did you enjoy being the go-to Azina Herc director for comedy episodes, or would you have liked to be in charge of more serious scripts? I think of you as the Joxer Whisperer. I think that's funny that got brought up.
No, I was very happy with my position. I did not want to take Xena seriously, and therefore I was the perfect guy for the comedy episodes. I did one or two that can be considered serious, I guess. The first one I did, A Fistful of Dinars.
I remember that one.
And Blind Faith, where Xena gets blinded, and we end up doing the Defiant ones with her handcuffed to the bad guy.
Yeah.
Right. And
there was like little homages to classic films and a lot of stuff that you worked on. But I wanted to point something out while we're talking about Joxer. This. There you go.
Yes.
You played a big part in that song.
Yeah, well, I thought it up. Yeah, that's how that came to be. The night before, as I do with everything I'm shooting, I'm thinking about what scene I'm shooting the next day. And there's this scene of him tied to a pole, and Xena doesn't save him. And she just thinks it's better to leave him there tied to the pole. And so I thought, well, would this be a perfect time for you to sing your theme song? And I put, and then my inspiration that I wrote in the margin of my script, I was from Woody Allen's Bananas, where they come up with the revolutionaries come up with their theme song, warriors are we, born to be free, just like the fish in the sea. And I wrote that in the margin. And so I took Ted out onto the lawn and I sang it to him. And I added Joxer things into it. And he and I kicked it around until we had the first verse. Joxer the mighty roams through the countryside, never needs a place to hide. Gabby as a sidekick, fighting with a little stick. He's Joxer the mighty. And I went, good, that sounds great, Ted. We've got it. Now go write 3 more verses. Go to your trailer. I have other things to do. Came time to do it. Ted had actually written 3 more verses. And I just kept the camera rolling and we shot them all. And then they ended up getting, the editor got, spunky and put them in a couple different places, and then it followed Ted around for the rest of his life.
Ted is someone that you've also known all your life.
Not all my life, but all of his life.
All of his life. Yeah, because you're older. I get it. But I like the fact that on this last film, you got him involved with that, with the WARPATH. Yeah,
well, he happened to be in town.
I think that's fantastic. And he ended up, because he is on the poster, very small, because that was per his request. But there he is in the bottom right.
Yep. He didn't mind.
Not at all. So going back to WARPATH, Diana brought it up, and I wanted to bring it up too, is let's get the whole story on finding a dead body on your movie set.
What?
Oh.
Which movie was that?
WARPATH.
Oh my God.
Oh, my fault. Sorry.
That was a second unit shoot that happened to have the director on it, but it was a second unit scene, and Gary Jones was directing, so I was just producing at that point, and with my co-producer Mike Jolie, and my other producer was Gary Jones, but Gary was the second unit director on this shoot, and he was getting all of the Indians, when they get blown up by dynamite, they go flying through the air, you see fire and smoke and Indians flying through the air, which I love that shit. So, and Gary does that stuff really well, and it's with a mini tramp and whatever, and he's got these air guns and all this crap. And so we're picking that up in Pontiac, Michigan, which is not 1 mile from here, in this gigantic empty area where there used to be a housing complex that got torn down, and there isn't a brick left of it, and it's enormous, and there's woods all around it. And I shot a bunch of WARPATH there, and we're in the woods shooting this stuff, and I'm outside the woods in a director's chair acting like a producer, which is doing nothing. And people in the crew that are going in and out of the woods keep going, something smells funky in there. And then finally everyone goes, hey, let's move to our left, my left, 20 feet. And we keep shooting. And then finally they're all going, something smells funky in here too. So we move 20 feet further down, and we set the mini tramp up, and someone comes down on goes off the mini tramp, goes onto a mattress that's all covered with fake blood, and right next to them is a pile of sticks, and they move it because they land on it, from doing a fly onto the thing, and the sticks move away, and there's a dead body that's been dead for 6 months.
Oh, jeez.
And everybody goes, holy shit, that's what smelled. And everybody gets the hell away from it. And one of the gentlemen playing an Indian stuntman, Joaquin, really nice guy, was
I'm good friends with the guy. Got to get him on the show to tell his story.
Yeah, he is a retired canine cop.
Yep.
And he brought his dog with him every day. And what a great German Shepherd dog that was. And the minute that turned into a crime scene, Joaquin took over. Everyone back up. We called the Cabo helicopters, and we all had to fill out police reports. And me and Mike Choli, the other producer, we kept thinking about was, how do we get the rest of this day somewhere else nearby? And we did. We got everything scheduled.
Sounds like the premise for a movie. Jesus.
So, but that solved, that gave them the corpus delicti for an unsolved murder case. And they were able to then arrest and prosecute the dead guy's girlfriend and her father, who had killed him.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, this does sound like at least an episode of Law and Order or something.
I'm telling you, man, it's a movie. But going back, I wanted to really talk about running time. Because I like all your films, that. But my favorite film of yours is the one I got to do some artwork for, the Bruce Campbell art back in '97, is Running Time. And one of the things I loved about it was that it was the first film since Hitchcock's Rope in, 1954, I think.
No, that's 49.
49. That was shot in what's called real time. And that the opening of the story to the end of the story is the amount of time that takes place in the story. And you were the first director since Hitchcock to do that.
Which makes me the second one.
The second. Smart.
Gotta love math.
The second.
Right.
And I wanted to show people an example of what we're talking about, of how you did what you did before you explain it. Because in the first transition, we're going to see Rope. How Hitchcock did it was every 10 minutes on the reel, a reel of film is 10 minutes, they would move into the back of somebody or into an object and unload the camera film, put in a new roll of film, and then have everybody take their places, call action, and move the camera back.
Oh, like a fake cut.
Yeah,
Make it
and
look
this
like
is
a
how they did
continuous
it.
shot.
I'm going to show it real quick.
Really, you get much too upset much too easily, Philip. We have a very simple excuse right here. What are you worrying about, Philip? After all, old Mr. Kentley's coming mainly to look at these books now.
Now, that was how
That was a
Hitchcock-
good one.
Yeah. Now, this
He's got a bunch that are... That's one of the better ones in the movie.
This is because, it's funny. I did some clips from Running Time, and every single clip has either one or two of those in it. You were so clever in how you did yours. They were almost like wipes the way you did it, like Bruce moving across screen. This shot in particular.
So, Matushka, finally made it out, huh?
What's it to you?
think you're a tough guy.
In that one, what I really liked is because there were two things going on there. One, you were going from inside to outside, and you had to change the type of film you were using.
No, I didn't change the type of film. I had to change the exposure.
The exposure.
And just in case you're interested, because of I had to. Well, anyway, there's I had to change filters.
Yeah, because it gets much brighter once you go outside with starker contrasts. And but it's really clever because I love the way he wipes left, and then you repeated that going outside, and it's just fucking brilliant. I love that shot.
But you did choose one of Hitchcock's better transitions there in Rope.
Yeah, a lot of them were kind of clunky, and I agree.
Are very clumsy for you know. Look, a brilliant man, and he's got one that I'm convinced he didn't see coming. And if you could hear the real soundtrack that got cut out, he would go, "Oh dear, we're right near the end of the roll. Jimmy Stewart, don't move. We're going to roll into your back." And the camera bumps into a close-up of his back and then pulls back out. And it's as clumsy as can be. There are two cuts in the movie.
Yeah, well, in yours, there's so many, and I'll show those clips in a second. I wanted to introduce you to two people because they popped in after we started the show. My friend Jace. Jace, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here, man. Hello.
All right, good. Jace,
hello.
This is Josh Becker. Jace is from not Sweden, but Norway.
Yes, that's right.
And,
they're different countries.
This is my friend Script Doctor, who I work with a lot on stuff. And Script Doctor is a screenwriter in the film industry. And because of some of the things that we do on YouTube, he keeps his name private because he doesn't want the studios finding out because it might cost him his work. So he goes by Script Doctor PhD. And Script, do you have any questions for Josh?
I do have one, which is basically when you're in your pre-production stage, what's one of the first things you start to focus on before you get into the nitty-gritty of all the planning and everything for your shoot?
Oh, I don't quite get your question.
Oh, okay. Oh, great. Sorry, I'll rephrase it. There's a little bit of an echo here that's throwing me off.
It's on Josh's phone. It's
okay.
Yeah, we can't fix it.
So
Sorry,
I'll put it to this way: as a director, and you have your script ready, like it's all set and done, and you're fine, and you're like, okay, we're going to our next steps. We're actually going to start production. In regards to like, what do you prefer focusing on first when you're in those early stages of production, as opposed to anything else, so that you can get your bearings and you can see your target end goal when you're already wrapped?
First of all, there's a difference between like making Running Time or If I Had a Hammer or Thou Shalt Not Kill, except or whatever, any of those indie movies, and television. Because in television, there's a much bigger crew. And jobs that I do on indies, which is the first, I'm answering your question.
You are, yes.
The first thing I do on the indie movies is the schedule. I do the breakdown in the schedule. And the breakdown is, what stuff do I need? In every scene you go through, and other than actors and cameras and the usual junk you'd bring there, what else do you need? And you do this breakdown, and then you start to move it all around and start to squish it back and forth of, well, how long is it going to take me to shoot this thing, given how many locations, et cetera, et cetera. And then I start to figure out, well, okay, I can do this in 10 days, or I can do it in 15 days, or I can do it in 20 days. I once had 24 days. That was the most I've ever had. And then it's like, I know this is a little, but you can't get more than 20 shots in a day, no matter what. That's just how life is. Therefore, if you're going to get between 15 and 20 shots, which are those 15 to 20 shots are you going to get these 6 pages that they've assigned that you have to get that day? So, do I have time for a wide and 2 close-ups, or do I just have time for a wide shot, or can I actually do a camera move? Is there enough time to actually set up a dolly or a steady cam? And a lot of my movies have this concept in them, particularly running time, which is time. And time, ticking away the moments that make up a dull day, is constantly an issue that keeps coming back to me and to my stories and to how I work as a filmmaker. Because, for I've never been able to shoot slowly and take my time. So,
well, and I think that came from your work with television. As I recall, through our conversations, that working on television really taught you how to work quickly.
Well, no, but indies had already, because I had made Thou Shalt Not Kill Except and Lunatics before I got to TV.
Ooh, Lunatics! I forgot about Lunatics. Oh,
and no, what taught me the hard way was
Lunatics,
Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell, the first day of shooting on Lunatics, Bruce is the mad doctor there, but he was also the producer. And we did what is called a day night, where we started at noon and kept shooting until midnight. And so I got a day and a night. And I was setting up my last shot at midnight, and I felt pretty good about it. And I was just setting it up, and Bruce Campbell stepped out and looked at his watch and went, "Okay, it's midnight. That's a wrap." And I went, "No, I have one more shot to do." He goes, "Yeah, well, you didn't get it. See, because we wrap at midnight." And I went, "Oh, you're going to be like that, are you?"
Guys, man. Bruce Willis is like that too, I think.
Well, Josh, that was a great answer, because I've worked with experienced directors and inexperienced ones, and rarely do any of them think scheduling first. It's usually what are the shots first, how many shots they want to do, and then they try to schedule it after that, not understanding the fact that, yeah, you have a limited shots you can actually make in a day. And then they try to say, oh, we're going to stay on this one scene for 3 days when they really only needed to be there for a day and a half, just because they wanted to get all the shots. And it's just ridiculous.
So, it's everything. I mean, I can get comfortably 7 pages, 6 to 7 pages. But, you can't, you're not really out for quality when you're moving that fast. You're getting it done. And I have this belief, whatever, that on my tombstone, it will say, he was competent.
Oh my God. All right. Hey, Steve, I'm sorry, Deleted, you had a question.
Yes, I did. And once again, Mr. Becker, thank you for joining us today. Evil Dead is like a live broadcast from hell. And I mean that in the best way. You said earlier in the conversation that it was actually shot over a period of years. How do you keep that kind of intensity up over such a lengthy shooting period?
Well, you can't and I can't, but Sam Raimi can. Sam has this incredible ability to irritate anybody he wants at any time he wants. And
it's a gift.
It is a gift. Oh, he can charm anyone he wants anytime he wants to. But if he wants to irritate you and make you mad, he knows exactly how to do it. And I can't work that way. My favorite director, William Wyler, he worked with disappointment. You couldn't do it good enough for him. You're just like, ugh. And, he was known as 40 take Wyler. And after 40 takes, he'd go, ugh. All right, fine. Let's just stop shooting this. Clearly, it's not going to get any better.
I love talking about him with you because you and I are both big fans of William Wyler. And I think we share the same favorite film of The Big Country.
Well, no, I won't choose a favorite one. No,
it is my favorite. And it has one of the best fight scenes and one of the longest fight scenes in film history between Charlton Heston and Gregory Peck, and has what I consider to be the best wrap up to that fight scene, which is they're both exhausted, they're done hitting each other, and Heston just says, "You sure do take a long time to say goodbye."
It's Pedro Armendez, he's overlooked a wonderful Mexican actor who had the part in Treasure of Sierra Madre. He's got the great line where he goes, badges? We don't need no stinking badges. And he's the horse trainer in Big Country. And the whole thing is Gregory Peck won't ride the crazy horse because they know, like Thunder or whatever, because they know it's going to throw him. And so he won't do it. And so they all think he's a chicken. But after everyone's gone, he says to Pedro Armendez, "Bring Thunder out. I'm going to ride him with no one around." And he goes, "This horse is just kicking and snorting." And he goes to our Pedro Armendez, he goes, "Do you have any suggestions?" And he goes, "Don't do it." He's got a bunch of great lines in the movie. Anyway, but yeah, it's a wonderful movie. It's a great score. One of the great Hollywood scores by a guy who did very few scores, Jerome Ross. So,
yeah, because I don't recall anything else by him, to be honest with you.
Rachel.
Yeah, I don't even know that name.
Paul Newman directed it, and it stars Joanne Woodward. It's a bummer.
It sounds like a terrible film already.
It's not. No, it's well done, but it's I don't run out and see it.
Don't run out. I'm going to go ahead and pop up some images for everybody. This is your film Alien Apocalypse.
Oh, yeah.
Renee O'Connor and Bruce Campbell.
One of these.
Also did a little movie called Stan Lee's Harpies. Un film de JOSH BECKER. That's the French cover. Let's see. Hercules, The Maze of the Minotaur. And then, of course, you worked throughout the series on Xena. And you worked on the first episode pilot for Jack of All Trades, as I recall.
Oh, that's a fun show.
Oh, that's I remember when you went over to do that.
Yeah, I did 2 episodes.
Oh man, I haven't watched that in years.
It's a show that I felt should have been better marketed.
It was killed. It was killed in the womb.
It was killed in the womb. Oh my God!
That show was
brutal.
Yeah, it was shot dead before it was born by its executive producer.
It's one of the stillborn shows, I guess.
Was that Rob?
Yeah. Well, I would never, but
okay.
Yes, it could have been a good show.
And of course, the first film you did, which I saw in the theater, was this little baby.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not kill.
Thou shalt not kill, except. I was hoping that Synapse would use me to do the cover art for that, because I really wanted to do a cool ass cover for that. But oh well, life happened. And of course, I'll show this again. Lunatics.
That's got a better cover. A lot of versions of that there's a much better cover artwork of Ted up against a door with hands coming through. Yeah, much better. The German
That's the
cover.
Euro cover.
Yeah.
But I wanted to show some images from that movie because there's Ted, and there's Ted running from that crazy animated spider.
Yes, in rear screen.
Yep. And here's a good shot of Deborah Foreman and Ted. She was
the end of the movie, near the end.
That was
and wait, before whoa, that shot right there. Here, I can do this to everybody, whoever sees the movie again, because Bruce did it to me. We made the movie, we cut the movie was done. This took, whatever, a year. And we're watching the movie, Bruce and I, wherever the hell we were around the world where we showed it. And Bruce says, in the frame, the metal frame of the door behind Ted and Debbie, you can see a yellow light that we had set up in the street, like a flashing light to get people to not come into the area. You can see it reflected in that door thing. And now that's all I see when I watch that scene.
Somebody was asking if that's Ted's nipples. It's like, no, that's a fold in the shirt.
Oh, no,
that's better than bat nips.
No, it was chilly out.
But Diana asks, you've talked candidly about your strained relationship with your father. Yet, with inheriting enough to fund 2 of your scripts, is there any irony there that you sense? Irony equals good story, as you say.
Yeah, well, my dad and I had made up by the end of his life, but yeah, certainly there's an irony there because he was so against me making movies. So yeah, I think part of it was me going, "Hey, asshole, guess what I'm doing with your money? You know, I'm blowing it on movies." I did that as much as I could, and then I stopped. So
one thing that I think a lot of indie filmmakers would be interested in how you did it. How did you finance a lot of your films?
I self-financed a bunch of them. I raised money for the first couple. I mean, for Thou Shalt Not Kill Except in Lunatics: A Love Story, that's all money raised from local investors who got their money back. How many indie filmmakers can say that? And on the Lunatics, they got their money back before the film came out. It got sold before it was even finished in post.
Oh, really?
So,
who bought it?
Yeah.
Who was it about?
Columbia TriStar.
Oh, that's right, Columbia TriStar, because that's why you had issues getting reprints and stuff later.
Right, and it's still a very hard movie to find, but I do have it's now licensed to an Australian company.
It's the only film of yours I don't have a copy of.
Yeah, well, you can get it. I've got it. I bought it. It was like $20 from an Australian company. I don't know how they licensed it, but it's licensed.
Okay, I'm going to have to go look for that. But I wanted to point out one of the funny things about this film is that is Sam Raimi as the Helter Skelter character in your story. Sam Raimi was
the cult leader. Yes.
What was it like directing him?
Well, I directed him a lot of Super 8 movies, and he had played that part already in the Super 8 version of Strikers War.
Yep, Bruce was involved.
Bruce starred in it, and co-produced it with me. But Sam, he takes, it doesn't take much to get Sam going, basically show him his mark and then turn the camera on. I mean, he doesn't really need direction. I told him the very first day of Thou Shalt Not Kill, we had spent $100 on his wig. Single biggest expense in the movie, and I said, Sam, be kind to that wig. And so the first take, first day, first shot of with him, I'd already been shooting the movie for 2-3 weeks, whatever, before he showed up. And he goes, he starts to scream, ah! And grabs both sides of the wig and tears the hair out. And screws up our $100 wig immediately. And we have to now glue that back in. And his wig never looked good again for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, because it looked too puffy and big on his head.
Oh, he screwed it. He just made sure of it.
Now, even though Sam Raimi is in this movie, but what I find interesting about this film is the story behind the movie. And it's a little film that you and I've talked about in the past by Mike Miner called Indian Summer, which starred Bill Paxton as you.
To some extent, yeah. The guy who got kicked out of camp more than anyone else.
Yeah, because you all went to the same summer camp.
Yes, Tamaqua. And that's what's in Indian Summer.
And, and even though I don't think it's that great a film, I do enjoy watching it. Because I get a kick out of the fact that I know some of the backstory is you guys. Well,
and Alan Arkin, I thought was good casting for Uncle Lou, who owned the camp and ran it, and was the biggest boxing referee in Detroit in the 40s and 50s, and did refed, Joe Louis and Jake, did almost all the Jake LaMotta, Sugar Ray Robinson fights.
Wow! And
he had a huge influence on me.
Well, if you've not seen this film, you should watch it. And I like the little thing that happened because you approached one of the females after seeing the film that was represented in the film, and asked if the two of you were going to get together because they got together.
Yes, the two characters. Bill Paxton ends up with Diane
Lane.
Yeah. I'd be happy to end up with Diane Lane, but
even today,
you wouldn't.
She's younger than me, and she's still
Superman's mom now.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, I called up Sue, who Diane Lane is playing, and I said, "Well, he made us get your Sue is Mike Binder's cousin, and who wrote and directed that movie." And I said, our characters end up together in the movie. So are we supposed to do that now? Does life imitate art? But it did.
No.
I like little anecdote and things like that.
Nice try.
Nice try, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
now I want to go
a smooth line. I mean, take it what you can get.
Exactly.
Well, the fact is, I just like to add, as far as Indian Summer goes, that to get a movie made about you, you usually have to do something like be Audie Murphy or be Alexander Graham Bell. Whereas I simply attended summer camp
and got and I think that Bill Paxton's character in that was a lot of fun. The little trouble.
Well, Bill was a very nice guy. I hung out with him at Sam's stag party.
Oh man, he's an actor I really, really, really miss. And, I love that, and I hate that because I've been having to get a lot of surgeries lately. It's just scary that basically he didn't know he was dying. He just went in to get a planned procedure, and never woke up from surgery.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like a good way to go.
Yeah, I mean, definitely worse ways. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather not linger. So.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to show a quick clip from Running Time. This is the scene with what's her name, Anita Barone. And Bruce, and there's a little bit, there's a cut here, but on top of that, a little bit of trivia with this shot.
Janie Kachansky? I'm Carl Matushka.
Oh my God. Carl.
and that was another cut with the moving of the camera, and that was your hand, not Jeremy Roberts.
It's my voice too.
Oh, that's you doing the laugh? That sounded like him. Holy
Yeah,
cow,
it's me. Yeah, I just left it
Wow.
in. As opposed to bringing Jeremy in to loop it, I went, who the hell's going to know?
Because it actually sounds like Jeremy, because I was friends with Jeremy.
I love that style. Probably just because of my age. Birdman really is kind of what put me down that rabbit hole of looking for people.
Birdman is doing the same thing, although he is cutting now and again, but he's going for 10, 15-minute hunks.
Yeah.
Except that he's digital, so he can cut anytime he wants.
Right, yeah, it's kind of not fair, but like the way Hitchcock and in the clips he was showing, and I actually have it up on my queue because I have not seen Running Time, and I'm a huge Bruce Campbell fan, so I want to watch that after we're done.
Another one who followed up with this idea was Alfonso Cuarón in Gravity.
Yes.
And then Sam Mendes in 1917.
I haven't seen that one, but I've heard about it. I heard that whole movie was made like there's not a single cut in it. Is that true?
Except that it's digital and you can cut anytime you want.
Right, but it looks like there's not.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah. But for the whole movie, right? It's like
117 very long minutes.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's probably why I haven't seen it, man. That's grueling.
It's grueling. I don't like that actor in the lead, and all he's doing is running the whole movie for 117 minutes.
I remember watching a behind the scenes documentary on it so I could speak about it because I didn't want to watch it, and they were showing how they were doing that. It was like it looked like a ton of running, you know, just the way they were doing the camera work, you know.
Yeah, he's a messenger in World War I, and he's delivering a message.
Right, yeah, he's got to run from one place to the other, so they just follow him in like basically what seems like real time in what seems like one continuous shot. I mean, it sounds cool, but it's also like I'm actually really excited to see this movie of yours.
One of the things I did on purpose, mind you, is Rope is one of Hitchcock's shortest movies. It's 80 minutes.
Yeah, and this one looks like it's only 68 minutes, right?
Well, yeah, or 70. It's somewhere between 68 and 70. It says 70 on some of them. But at 80 minutes, Rope is too long.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, okay, well, I learned every lesson I tried to learn from Rope. I went, okay, well, 80 minutes, you wear out your welcome with this one-shot deal.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's criminal that when I went down the rabbit hole for this after watching Birdman that I didn't come across this movie. It should probably be brought up more. So,
I'm grateful that Synapse Films got it and did a cleanup of it and released it on Blu-ray, and I got to do the artwork for that.
Oh, nice!
To get to come back from doing the art in '97 to doing this is probably one of the best honors I've ever had. I'll go ahead and show it real quick, Josh. Here it is.
Yeah, do it.
Dude, I love that photo. That's you?
Yeah, I did the artwork.
Oh, right. That's my favorite poster out of the ones I was looking at while we've been talking. That's hilarious.
I actually technically designed the logo because it's also my art in the logo.
To give,
I thought he should be in there.
To give Josh a little background, like I do the same thing, but I do it on a much lower scale, like not for movies and shit. So like I do fanboy out sometimes on his artwork, but I'm not too shabby myself. I'll show you some stuff later.
Yeah, we can actually do that after the show. Hey, Jace, you got any questions, buddy? You've been quiet.
Yeah, no, I actually don't.
You've just been enjoying the show, gotcha.
Yeah, a lot of you are asking the questions I've been thinking about. So,
Script, you got any more questions, buddy?
Not at the moment, aside from just commenting that Hercules Maze of the Minotaur was the one released on TV that really catapulted the series when it was airing the following year.
Well, I enjoyed it.
The other ones, unfortunately, did not get much
and I didn't even know you yet, Josh, and I still liked what you did.
What?
Nothing.
Well, it was it was well rated. You know, it got the second highest rating of the 5 movies, for whatever that's worth. And I did second unit on Amazon Women, which was the highest rated of the movies. So I did all the fight scenes in that.
I have a question. You are uniquely qualified to answer that. It will help settle an argument with some of my friends. Have you seen that? Of course, or hell, you might have been a part of it. But you know how it's like a thing that Kevin Sorbo, like, disappointed. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh
No.
shit! You guys know what I'm talking about?
I have no fucking clue, buddy.
Yes, I do.
Okay,
He knows, thank God.
All right, well, maybe somebody
I've
can
heard of
find a link so they see. But basically, it's Kevin Sorbo going, like, it's in an episode of Hercules, and he goes, disappointed. And the story is supposedly that was stage direction. He wasn't supposed to say disappointed, but he did. And I wanted to know if you knew if that was true or not.
I never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Okay, no worries then. My bad.
No, no. But it is, I think, of some interest that on that first Hercules movie, Hercules Meets the Amazon Women, of which I was second unit director, that's where Kevin Sorbo met Roma Downey, who was the lead Amazon woman, and Lucy Lawless was her sidekick. And Roma, who's Irish, is married to Mark Burnett, who did Survivor and is a billionaire, and the two of them are severely born-again Christians. And Roma brought Kevin into the fold on Minotaur, on Hercules and the Maze of the Minotaur, is when Kevin found God. So, for whatever that's worth.
Where was he
Zach
hiding?
did his job.
That's a great question.
Zach, can you show that clip?
Oh, he found the clip I was talking about?
He found the clip. Are you able to show the clip? Let me add him to the stream. Zax, can you show the clip?
Make it so, number one.
Yep, make it so.
Make it so.
Engage.
Do it.
Anytime, Zach.
Do it now. Damn you.
Hey, do it.
Wait a minute. This isn't my world.
So unintentionally funny. Like, but my friends of mine and I argue all the time whether that he was supposed to say it or if it was stage direction.
I think it's just a good delivery.
Yeah, I was glad that Keith and I got to meet Kevin Sorbo and do a little video for you on that. I already showed it to you a long time ago, where he sent a special greeting to you.
I liked working with Kevin. He's easy to work with.
Like the world's first cameo? Is that what that was? That's what that sounded like.
What? I don't know what the fuck that meant.
No, you know that website Cameo where you can get a celebrity to like message you for a minute or something like that. So it sounded like Kevin Sorbo do that, and he'd be the first one if that's the case. So, you know.
There you go.
Well, he actually,
he was
actually here in the area, and we went
at
to go meet him.
Branson convention.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to meet him and talk to him. I've been trying to get him back on the show because he told us to contact him, but I don't know. Steven, you got any questions, buddy? You've been really quiet.
Well, I talk a lot, so I was just listening to the stories in general. But
well, they're fun stories. That's why I love talking to Josh.
Yeah. But I don't really have a question, but I would like to say thank you for like just sharing your time with us and putting up with Gary and Keith and everyone else here, myself. I hope you had a good time.
You don't even have. Come on, you guys. I mean, you know.
All right. I got
questions about Evil Dead. Or...
I mean, I could ask questions all the live long day, but
I've got Diana too in the chat. She does have a question for you. I'll read it. I was bothered by your inclusion of the rape scene in Alien Apocalypse, but when I dwelled on it more, with your raping the environment subtext, I recall you saying striving for, was it an intentional nod to the theme?
Well, thank you for tying it into the theme, but I'm just showing Bruce as the lawgiver, and in the future world where he is the lawgiver, there's no raping. It may have flown previously, but it don't fly now.
Yeah, I like that. And then she also asked, it wasn't Herc, it was his alter ego villain dude. Yeah, it was sort of like the Star Trek mirror universe.
Right. Well, yeah, but why would you say, I don't know, it just, to me, in a lot of people, like, why would you say it like, I don't know.
I'm disappointed. Well, there's
Just
only
like
one good version of that. Even though it's not that great a film, I'm looking for it. Here it is.
I am very disappointed.
Well, see, that's different. He says, I'm very disappointed, or I am very disappointed. Whereas Kevin Sorbo says, like, whatever that line is. And then he goes, disappointed, which was awesome. And if that's how they wrote it, he nailed it. But it seems like, to me, like a couple of my friends, at least I got convinced that he was supposed to say that line that he said in a disappointed way instead of saying disappointed. And instead, he was like, no, I think it should be disappointed. Yeah.
But what was your general impression? Did you really enjoy working with Kevin?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, he seems like a cool. I mean, I've never met him.
He's completely pleasant, calm, upbeat guy who knew his lines and took his fight choreography seriously. And I enjoyed working with him. I mean, I'll tell you, I after we shot the 5 movies and I directed main unit directed the 5th one, Minotaur, there was stuff left over from the previous of all 5 movies that there was like 2 weeks worth of second unit to shoot. And they'd had 3 or 4 different second unit directors. I was the first one. And they asked me if I wanted to be the last one and come back on second unit after everybody else had left and clean up all the shots missing from the movies. And I said, hell yes. So I stayed on for another couple of weeks. But here's the joke, is that Kevin Sorbo's contract lasted till the end of those 2 weeks. So Rob Tappert, the executive producer, made Kevin Sorbo stay there and shoot with second unit for 2 more weeks. And he thought he was going home, but he wasn't. And he was kind of pissed off the whole 2 weeks.
Would you say he was disappointed?
He was disappointed. And so we're shooting this stuff, and I was pretty close with Rob Tappert at that time. And Rob had told me on the phone, he was in LA, that it looked like they were going to get picked up as a series. And so we were shooting some nonsense that should have had a stand-in, but in fact, I had Kevin Sorbo. And we get the shot, and I say to Kevin, I talked to Rob last night, and he says he thinks this is going to become a series. And Kevin really just like goes, I have been in a dozen pilots, and none of them have been picked up for series, okay? This is not getting picked up as a series. 5 years later.
Clearly, he's not a fortune
there you
teller.
go. Rob Tappert
I filled
knows
my
his stuff when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Because you've been friends with Rob for a long time, too. And,
yes, I've known Rob since, when he was in college with Ivan and Sam.
Yeah, and
Right.
a lot of people don't know who he is. And Rob Tappert's a really big behind-the-scenes guy with all the Renaissance and your relationship. I mean, you were best man at his wedding.
I was his to Lucy Lawless.
Yeah.
Wow.
And,
yeah.
Wow. So are you you still in contact with Sam?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I lost Sam. See, the joke with Sam is that since we were young, and I mean young, like 11, 12, 13 years old, all of us are in this group, Bruce Campbell and Scott Spiegel and
what about
John Camp.
Are you still, how about Ted?
Ted's a kid at this point. He's a little kid.
I mean,
yeah, he's still in contact.
Are you still in contact with Ted to this day?
Oh yeah. Oh no, I'm in contact with Ted Raimi, Andrea Raimi, and Ivan Raimi.
Okay.
Just not
so
Sam.
What is there?
Wait,
I'm not trying to be Barbara Walters. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Let's finish.
Just that we referred to Sam from the time we were all very young as the Great Oz, and nobody sees the Great Oz. No how, no way. And long before he ever made the Great Oz, the movie, that's who he is. He is the Great Oz.
Oh shit, he did. Is that true? Did you guys really make that joke before he made that movie? I forgot he made that movie until you mentioned it.
No, years before, 25 years before.
Yeah. So, like, did
I'm
you guys
saying why I'm not in contact. Nobody's in contact with the Great Oz.
Okay, fair enough. The reason I was asking is I felt like it might be pertinent, and I'd love to have you on Salty Nerds sometime or talk to you more if I'm not annoying you. Because like I didn't know I was a fan of your work my whole life, but I've been a fan of your work my whole life because of my mom who's in the chat.
Yeah, his mom is in the chat. It is this young lady I'm looking for. There she is. PJ.
Oh yeah, that's my mom.
PJO
She got me. I saw Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, way freaking younger than I should have. So God you know what I mean? You know, like,
I feel that one.
Yeah, way younger. And she was into I don't want to like absolutely no disrespect whatsoever, but what I've always called B horror movies. You know what I mean? Which I don't mean in any disrespectful way whatsoever, but that's like what
it's your budget. B is your budget. You can't help that.
Yeah, but what you guys did with what you had, I remember when my mom and I saw Army of Darkness in the theater.
It's a decent budget. I mean, that's not
that one. That was the one. Yeah, we were I remember talking about imagine if 1 or 2 had that budget. You know what I mean? How dope would that have been? There
would have been different movies. They're all 3 because of the first one being $500,000. The second one being $6 million, and the third one being $18 million. They're all very different movies.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, one of my favorite moments with Bruce Campbell at a convention where he's talking, and somebody stood up and asked the question, "What's the deal with the differences between Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, and Evil Dead 3 Army of Darkness? Why are they so different?" And I thought they were supposed to be sequels. And Bruce just shot out, "Well, clearly it's the tumor in your brain." And the guy goes, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, "It's not the tumor.
It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor."
and Bruce goes, "I don't know about that, man. You better get it checked. Something's wrong up there."
Well, when we made Evil Dead 1, we certainly never thought there would be an Evil Dead 2.
Wasn't it a rights thing? Wasn't Evil Dead you would know way better than me. This is just shit that I've read that I've reported on way in the past. That it was a rights thing. So when he wanted to make 2, he didn't have the rights to 1, so they basically kind of rebooted 1, but with less people. Is that right, or was it a rights thing, like a movie rights?
Well,
thing?
he couldn't use footage from the first one, so he had to reboot that stuff that he wanted.
So it's more
to
it's more like a reboot, right? Dead Till Dawn is more like a reboot.
Well, just the beginning of it. Well, once once you get through the retelling of the initial story, which he had to recreate, it pretty quickly moves into its own new realm of Bruce being the monster. You know, instead of in the first one where it's the girls are the monsters.
Yeah.
You know, one of the temporary titles between Book of the Dead and Evil Dead was Fee Monsters.
Going back to Kevin Sorbo, Diana wants to ask, Sorbo had a blood clot or something.
Oh, yes.
Due to his 40-pound leather woven pants. Did you have to work around him being absent for resulting heart condition?
No, I wasn't on Hercules at that time. I was on Xena.
Yep.
So I saw Kevin any number of times as he withered away because he wasn't allowed to work out.
What?
Well,
That's
he had a blood clot. So his muscles all went away. And they were shooting around him. He could only shoot for like an hour or two a day. And so Bruce Campbell took over the series, really, and suddenly it became the adventures of Aeolus and Autolycus, and Hercules would make small appearances.
Because I did watch the series, and I was always curious why that happened.
Yeah, blood clot.
Damn, that's a fucking bummer, dude. Like,
hey, he worked right through it.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, it kind of reminds me of something else that happened, because I remember you telling me when Kevin Smith, the New Zealand actor,
who died,
yeah, he died. That was
he
while
was
you were
Ares.
still over there. Yeah, he played Ares.
Yeah, I did the the last episode of Xena is a double episode. I did the one right before that, and he co-starred in that one, Kevin Smith.
Yeah, he's a good actor, and from what I hear, a really nice guy. What were your thoughts?
A tremendously nice guy. Yeah, fell off a set in China. And I have no doubt that he was drunk as hell. So what the fuck, you know?
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
No, it's all right. His best buddy, Charlie Haskell, who was my first AD when I was the second unit director, Charlie went on to direct, and he's directed everything they've done down there. He directed the last Evil Dead thing, a couple of them. Charlie and
Evil
Charlie,
Dead or the
one Ash versus Evil Dead.
Ash okay.
Charlie directed some of the episodes of that.
Okay.
And Charlie and Kevin Smith were best friends. And Charlie was a short, pot-bellied guy. And his friend was this 6'2" Adonis. And the two of them had traveled. New Zealanders travel a lot because, living on a little island. And Charlie and Kevin had traveled around the world, and they had pictures of they would drink the local beer and pull up their shirts and show their bellies. And Charlie had a big pot belly, and Kevin Smith, of course, was totally ripped. And but that was their
poor thing. He was totally ripped. Oh,
yeah. But that was their pastime. Traveling the world and drinking beer.
Hey man, if I may, this could be a clip in a stoner moment. You were talking about they travel a lot because they're on an island. But if you think about it, man, what's the definition of an island? Anybody? It's a body of land completely surrounded by water, right?
Right.
If you think about it, because we're on Earth, we're all living on an island, man.
And that is definitely a stoner way of thinking.
Maybe it's an isthmus.
Isthmus. Hey, Josh, you got to work with a couple of people. that later became more well known. One of them, Keith and I hate passionately, is Alex Kurtzman.
Oh yeah,
we can't stand the guy.
Whoa!
Seems like
Did you know
he was very young when he was very young when I worked with him.
Yeah,
I just want to know.
That was
can
on
I ask
Xena, right?
On Xena?
He was a kid. That was like his first job.
Okay. So you didn't like look at him and think that's the guy that's going to destroy Star Trek in the future. That didn't happen to you. You didn't have that moment. It's like,
I didn't have that moment. I thought,
Okay.
what an ambitious young man. You know.
I bet people thought that about Hitler too.
Yeah.
Sure. But
No.
the one I because as I recall, you had some really nice things to say about him is Carl Urban.
Carl was great. Those were that was the first time I did 2 episodes with him. Those are the first 2 times he was ever on film.
Was on Xena.
On Xena, and he got stuck with that sorry ass role of Cupid.
Cupid, yeah.
Yeah. And he had to wear those horrible wings, the big giant prop.
He was also Caesar, right?
Yes. Yes, he was.
All right. So if my mom is still in the chat, I am very upset with you that I did not know this because I never knew Carl Urban was in Xena. I must have missed those episodes. I love.
They're really funny
that
because
dude.
those fucking wings are so tiny. They look so goofy.
I gotta
They're
look this
huge.
shit up now. Oh, look, my mom just facepalmed. That's hilarious.
They're huge, those wings.
Also, Dork, you got to understand, when production wrapped up down there for a lot of what they were doing, a majority of the people that had gotten their start working on both Hercules and Xena were rolled right into the production for The Lord of the Rings. That's the reason why a lot of these actors ended up there.
The entire crew of Lord of the Rings is the Hercules crew.
Including
Peter Jackson is the luckiest motherfucker on the planet because
that's the headline on comicbook.com
got
tomorrow.
started on Xena and Hercules, right?
If Hercules had not been canceled after season 5, Peter Jackson would not have had a crew.
Or he would have had a very much less experienced and inferior crew. And
yeah, they probably.
Yeah, what was he going to get? College students from University of Wellington? I mean, the professional filmmakers of New Zealand, who are very good, are all in Auckland, and they were all on Hercules and Xena.
Yeah.
And when I watched Lord of the Rings, it just looks like a Hercules episode to me.
And I totally see that, but maybe. Wow, it's the butterfly
Better
effect,
effects.
man. Yeah, if the show hadn't got canceled, they might not have gone to New Zealand. They might have shot the movie somewhere else, even.
Well, no, that's where Peter's company is. Weta, that he always planned to shoot it there.
Well, you're saying, if all the talent was taken, I'm just saying, you never know, man. Like if all the talent in New Zealand was taken up, it had the show stayed going. And you're saying, like, where are they going to get the talent? Like, university, they might be like, well, shit, I guess we have to go.
No,
vacation
dude,
somewhere.
look, I was kidding. Peter Jackson,
okay.
They gave him enormous amounts of money. I mean, if he needed to bring a whole crew in from Hollywood, he would have done it.
Okay.
But I do want to mention that you guys were the ones who got to work with Weta or Weta.
Weta.
First. Yeah.
Weta did. Of the 5 Hercules movies, Weta did 2 of them. They did, and one of them was Minotaur. Weta built the Minotaur head.
Yeah.
And the guy Richard Taylor from Weta, who was the effects supervisor on Minotaur, has since gone on to win 5 Oscars.
God damn, that's great.
And
it's like the dude that helped Kevin Smith with Clerks, who's now doing the cinematography for, Mandalorian. It's like you know what I mean? Like, I love hearing stories like that. Sorry.
Wasn't Richard Taylor knighted also? Isn't he technically Sir Richard Taylor now?
I have no idea.
Yeah, like
I think he might.
should somebody in the chat, look that up, please.
But and then the other three were done with KNB, Kurtzman Nicotero Berger did 3 of them, and so I worked with those guys, and they, of course they've gone on to do 8 million movies. I mean,
he was knighted in 2010.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
5 Oscars.
What?
You know?
The
For winning 5 Oscars.
Okay.
Why
Sir
haven't
Richard
you been
Leslie-
knighted, Josh?
What?
Why haven't you been knighted?
Or won 5 Oscars.
The thing I love about you.
Now, which one do you put more value on? I'm just curious. The Oscars or the Knights?
Oh, fuck
is the
being
fact that
knighted.
you-
Royalties. Fuck the royalty.
Josh never sold out or bought in, and that's the thing I
Monarchies.
admire about him.
Oh no!
Dude,
I
remember
agree
there
with
was
you,
this-
but I love you how just your brutal honesty when you're delivering.
I mean, remember there was that revolution in Russia, and then the monarchies all went away, except in Britain. Why didn't they go away too?
Well, right, but I feel like, and I could be totally naive on this because I'm an American, but it seems to me like the monarchy is more like it's like kind of like mayors. It's just like paper, like bullshit. It's not real. You know, like their government's not run really by a 100-year-old lady. It's run by whatever.
What you're the word you're trying to find here is titular.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. This is why you're a Hollywood writer, director, and I am a mere peasant struggling in Las Vegas making art.
That's why I'm a Hollywood director located in Detroit.
Michigan. Your next book, Leaving Hollywood Again.
Yeah. I've thought about it.
And Knightley, your mom has had a word or two. Yeah, she kind of likes the way he looks.
What? Who?
Your mom. She's talking, or has said yes.
Mom, why you got to make it awkward? I just saw that.
Who is she talking about?
Oh God, Carl Urban.
Oh, Carl.
Yeah.
Urban.
Oh,
Okay.
Carl.
Yeah. Like, see, you can't tell from the little bubble on her face. But you know, she's my mom, so you can. I'm not gonna be an asshole and say her age, but you can extrapolate what her age at the very least could be, knowing I'm in my mid 40s. So,
she's 29, right?
Sure, yeah, she's been 29 for 100 years or whatever women do.
No,
Don't be a dick.
Somebody just lost their allowance.
You kidding me? My mom was in North Carolina. I couldn't live further away from my mom unless I actually went to California. So it's like anyway.
So, getting back to it, Josh, what's up next? What's going on?
Well, I've just completed the first draft of Breaking News, the Bill Bond story, which when I have what I believe is closer to a finished draft, I will give it to my friend Bruce Campbell, whom I wrote it for with him in mind. And if my script is good enough, then the ball's in Bruce's court.
Well, good. You think you might be directing if he greenlights it?
He doesn't greenlight.
Oh,
he's an actor.
Oh, I thought he was producing it too.
He might. Could. He
Yeah,
can co-produce, but that he ain't going to put up the money.
Yeah. Usually with the actors, they give them a producer credit just to be like, hey man, like if you take the role, we'll also give you the producer credit.
Yes, but Bruce is an actual producer.
No, right. Yeah. Fair enough. Sorry.
Yeah, shut up. He was Dark Knight.
I'm just saying he knows how to produce. I mean, he always has, as long as I take that back, because when I first met him in junior high school, he didn't know how to produce.
But I still want to circle back to that one because I was really excited when you two were you and Bruce were talking about revisiting Stryker's War as a modern film, with him being in Afghanistan.
Yeah, Bruce wanted to do that. I never wanted to.
So nothing ever came of it?
I don't want to do it. Just like Ted wanted to do another Lunatics, and I didn't want to do it. And he was like all geeked up if he could sell Sam on this. And I went, well, that's fine, except that I'm never working with Sam and Rob ever again. So
hey, if you don't mind, I'm sure he gets the reference. Sam, I'm assuming Sam Raimi, Rob Tappert or
Tappert.
Okay. Sorry. So, and then, but why did you guys have a falling out, or you don't have, just I don't get the why there.
They're both assholes.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
I mean, they weren't when they were young. Well, Sam was the Great Oz, so you always had that. But no, both of them were very, very friendly, nice people. But you live in Hollywood for 30 or 40 years. It's like being pickled in vinegar or something.
So what you're saying is there's zero chance we're going to see you in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness as another fake Shemp for like the 100th time. That's not going to be a thing. There's no way that's going to happen. Can you comment on that?
You're talking about Sam's newest movie?
Yeah. If you had to sign an NDA, you sure?
When was the last time I did an extra bit? He used to, I used to get an extra bit in all his movies.
Yeah.
Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness and Darkman.
Yeah.
Darkman. He didn't call me for Quick and the Dead. So I guess it stopped somewhere around there.
Okay, shit. All right. Well.
Yes.
I really wanted those crew jackets were great.
Well, now he's getting that Marvel money.
You working on any new books?
When I saw Bruce and I saw Sam, the Great Oz, and nobody sees the Great Oz. No how, no way.
I love this.
And this was at his father's funeral last year, and Sam arrived in a limo, and the door opened, and his family began to crowd around because none of them had seen him in so long. And Bruce and I were actually able to ask him one question of how many days did you get 100 days on Doctor Strange? And he said, no, he only got 85. And then he drove away in the limo, and he did not show up to the Shiva afterward. So, but he is Oz, the great and powerful.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't
you
say so? But she's got
first.
the ruby slippers.
Breaking news. You heard it here first.
Oh, yeah, breaking news, and I think it turned out pretty well. I mean, Bill Bonds was a great character. I mean, he was, it's the closest thing to it, and is Network. I'm trying to do my network with the story of Bill Bonds, who completely lost it on television, drunk as hell. And I saw it here in Detroit in 1989. And he got, pulled from the news. He was the top local newsman in the country. And he was so drunk on the air that he challenged the mayor of Detroit to a boxing match and got pulled off the news after 25 years and was never allowed back on.
Damn, that sounds awesome. I would have been like 11, 12, 13. So I would have been, I don't know, I've been watching He-Man.
I do want to visit something that I always found funny. The movie Crime Wave.
Yes.
And because you knew I don't know if you remember, I was friends with the Brian James family.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, because I did the official bust after he passed away. In fact, I'm the one who made the announcement of his death. But I love that story you told of the hotel bar with him. Do you think that's something?
Yeah, he and Paul Smith.
Paul Beast Robin Smith.
Yeah, the two of them were so fucked up on alcohol and cocaine and God knows what else that they destroyed the bar at the Marriott Hotel, which was where all the actors were staying in the headquarters, the production office for Crime Wave was. Yeah.
It's like went in there and just started a fight and just took out the bar.
The whole bar, yeah. They were both very fucked up at the time.
And Paul, a lot of people remember him as Beast Robin in the 1984 Dune. And of course, Brian James played, best known as the replicant
Blade Runner
in Blade Runner.
He's the first thing you see in Blade Runner.
Yep. He's the one he shoots the guy with a black hole gun.
He's also in he's good in 48 Hours.
Yeah, he is. It's Keats.
Yeah.
And he ends up being the villain in another 48 Hours, which I didn't like. Because he was good in 48 Hours.
Yeah. Brian was good. He was just, at that point in the early 80s, he was, he had a serious coke problem.
Yeah, he did. Him and Tim Thomerson served in the I think it was the Marines together. And Tim was the guy who would try to get him out of trouble all the time.
I met Tim in a liquor store in Hollywood. Well, Santa Monica.
How was that?
He was nice as could be because he had done a couple of guest shots on Xena. And so when I saw him, I walked up to it because I thought he was a very funny comedian.
Oh, he's hilarious. His Sam Peckinpah routine was the best.
And so I walked up to him. I had no problem walking up and said, I'm one of the Xena directors. Oh, really? No kidding. We didn't work together, did we? Just goes to show how much attention he paid to the directors. Did we work together? No, we didn't. Oh, yeah, I love that show. Man, I hope they bring me down again. I went, well, I hope I get to work with you. And you were great, as a stand-up comic. And it's funny. I go, why don't you go back to stand-up comedy? Oh, no way. Like, once you've gotten out of stand-up, you don't go back.
It's true. I've heard that from other comedians.
It was like when Jon Stewart was ending his show, Kevin Hart was giving him hell of going, you have to go back on the road and do stand-up. And Jon Stewart went, never. I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, so. Leno was one of the few guys that, even when he got big, he continued doing the stand-up circuit. He never walked away from it. I think he knew that. Jay Leno.
Oh, and Bill Maher.
And Bill Maher, that's right.
Bill Maher does
go to open
every
mic
weekend.
Night. Yep.
So, all right. So, how long does this show go on? I'm getting hungry.
I was about to say, you got anything else to add? Anybody else got any questions? No?
Guess not.
Everybody's happy and content and ready to go to bed.
Well, thank you very much, everyone. Fun being here.
Stick around for after the credits. But Josh, thanks so much for coming on the show, man. You've been a friend of mine for a long time, and I couldn't imagine my life without you in it.
Thank you, Gary. I can't imagine my books or movies without you because they wouldn't have posters or covers.
You guys couldn't hear me yelling because I had to step away for a minute and I muted.
Oh, you have more questions.
You're like, you guys have any questions? I was like, No,
and that is no reference to your mother. That's just a turn of phrase. Your mom's awesome.
He didn't mean it, Mom. No. I just wanted to make
you.
sure I got to say goodbye. Shit, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, if you're ready to go. But I
don't have to leave. If someone has a good question, look, I'm not going to do this again for a while, so I swear to you.
It'll probably be 6 months to a year before I can get him back.
Anyway, so if someone has a question, please ask it now because I won't,
Well, we did get a $10 super sticker from our good friend in Australia, Brett Cohen. And Brett, for you, I'm going to play this clip from Running Time. And this is one of my favorite moments, and that's why I captured it. And it's also got one of your clever cuts in it.
Carl! 3!
Hey, that's a Redford Dondero game ball, man.
The big game.
Let's go, come on. Hey, Patrick, my main man.
Carl, the tush matush.
That's me, man.
Well, you look like shit.
Yeah, you too, man. You too. What's with the hair?
Oh, no. It's new. You like it?
Yeah, you look like a faggot.
Thank you.
I'd get in trouble for that now.
Wow, yeah, no,
today's culture.
Well, no, that's not true, man. If you've been watching Peacemaker, they dropped the F-bomb last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of shocked me. It's like,
yeah,
wow.
me too. I was like, whoa, I haven't heard that in a minute. It's like,
but thank you, Brett, for the $10 super sticker, buddy.
hey,
Shirley
Brett, I'm
says,
wearing your shirt.
Take care, Josh.
Thank you very
Valiant,
much.
My friend Valiant Renegade says, hail Pop Culture Minefield. Sorry, just got home. Smash that like button. And of course, our good friend, Mr. Tickle Trunk, whose name makes me giggle or titter like a small girl.
Yeah, guys, subscribe and like.
He's thanking you for coming on, Josh. There it is.
My pleasure.
Thanks for coming, Josh. Very good audience. Very good panel. Thanks for. Are you good? Is that weed or is that?
That's a cigarette.
Okay. I never know with you sometimes. Well, you cleaned up. I know.
Well, I don't drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah, I had two friends in my life that I knew I was going to be in for some serious entertainment if they called after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You and actor Morgan Paul, who was the guy that Brian James shot in the beginning of Blade Runner. Because he loved his martinis, man. Morgan, that guy loved his fucking martinis, and he'd get going. He called me up. He goes, "When I was on Blade Runner, I wanted to fuck that actress that played Zora so bad." But Martina Costa Santana says this has been one of the most entertaining lurking sessions of my life. Thanks to you all. I tell you, my phone calls with Josh are some of the best phone calls I've ever had. And the only other person I spend that much time with is Keith Moncrief and the guy down at the bottom there, Script Doctor PhD, when we get to talking. We talked
I thought you were
going
to say your wife.
9 hours. Script Doctor and I talked one night. I fucking love people who got something to say. Brett Cohen says, "What's wrong with calling someone thin as a bunch of sticks?" I don't know.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means. Maybe you know what that means. It's Aussie talk.
It sounds like a cliche, but I've never heard it. It's thin as a rail.
Maybe that's what that's reference.
Maybe
what they
that's
say in Australia.
I have, which I purchased in New Zealand. I have a dictionary of cliches.
Yeah, but don't New Zealanders and Australians like hate being referred to as the other? Like
one or the other.
Yeah, there.
Well, they don't like each other on some level. But it seems very silly to Americans. I mean, it certainly seemed silly to Bruce and I. And Bruce and I never stopped making fun of the New Zealanders who they don't get jokes. Just the whole country doesn't get jokes. And the Australians do get jokes, so...
Yeah, damn, Diana. I'm trying, honey. I'll ask more questions if you're saying you don't want it to end, but yeah, no, I mean, you read the same chat we do. If anybody has a question, ask it.
We were on Xena. I'll just keep talking. We're on Xena and we're shooting a crane shot day for night, and I'm just doing one joke after another, not getting laughs. And finally, I turned around. I used that old Rip Taylor line. I turned to the crew and I went, "I don't dance. This is the whole thing." This is the whole. I go, you guys don't have a sense of humor. You don't make jokes amongst yourselves. You won't laugh at my jokes. Won't laugh at Bruce Campbell's
What the fuck do you
jokes.
laugh at?
Really? What do you? Well, British comedies, maybe. I don't know.
I mean,
Okay, so
it's the cultural
Diana has a
difference,
question.
man.
She's asking, I always rooted for Aries and Xena, not Xena and Gap. So I made a lot of it. Look, I got stories about those fucking angry lesbians, because that was why I left Josh's being his webmaster, because they were pissing me off. They
Couldn't handle the comments.
They got so fucking angry at Josh, because he was just shooting from the hip.
Well, it was my idea, the whole lesbian thing. I mean, that I may have developed on its own anyway, but it was like right away when Xena started, 4 episodes, 5 episodes in, people started going, "Are they lesbians?" And it started becoming like a thing. People were talking about it, and there was no,
It led to a lot of slash fiction.
And wait. So when I came on the first season, I said to Rob and Liz, the co-producer, who is a lesbian, why don't we embrace this lesbian thing and make it an undercurrent, make it a subplot of I remember my line at that point I said, look, they're both straight, but there are many cold nights in the ancient world. And Liz Friedman, the co-producer.
Oh my God. That's a great quote.
Perfect lesbian answer. When I said they're both straight, but there's cold nights in the ancient world, Liz looked at me and went, "What is straight?" And what my point exactly, Liz. And Rob Tappert's reply was, "Are you insane? This is a family show."
Imagine if Twitter had been around then.
It's also
I got to tell you, man, the internet did exist. It just was on such a low level. You had bulletin boards back then.
Oh, dude,
but
my
Diana
like,
also asked, did the
AOL.
subtexters bedevil you, or was it something to laugh at their insistence?
Well, I didn't get that.
Diana was asking the subtexters about them being gay bedevil you, the people that were fans of the show, or was it something to laugh at the fans' insistence that they were gay?
Well, since I'm the one who injected that into the story, for them to then come at me, and when I explained it, they got mad at me because, I'm saying they're straight, but they fucked around, they screwed around a little bit.
It's just a little simple between friends.
Hey, man, it's like, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, baby.
Exactly. What happens in the ancient world stays in the ancient world. And so when I explained that, the staunch lesbians got mad at me. They went, "No, they're lesbians." And I said, "I can assure you they're not."
I like how he said he was,
and that's what
trying to be very
that's
PC.
what led to some of the heat, though, on your website when you first started the Ask the Director thing.
Yeah, but really what he wanted to say was man-hating dykes, but instead he said staunch lesbians.
So I want to thank Valiant Renegade, who I wanted on this show with you. I was wanting him on the panel, but he had to work. Valiant, thank you so much. Here's your little video.
I like you. You have balls. I like balls.
There you go, buddy. Thanks so much for your $10, man. He's like writing, "I'm dying over here." He's laughing at your stories, Josh. But let's get back into the chat, see if there's any more questions. Mr. Tickletrunk says, in Australia, cunt is a term for endearment. Yeah. it speaks volumes of the difference with the New Zealanders.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Cultural differences.
What is the term of endearment?
Cunt.
Yeah. Well,
like here, like cunt is a forbidden word, but like
which I say it all the time.
Yeah, I do too. But I've also been told that people like in like Britain or where
they call
Australia. Yeah, they're just like, hey, what's up, cunt? You know, like they call it. It's like like black people who call each other the N word that I used to be able to say.
No, cunt is an idiot.
Yeah,
and you can be a man or a woman and be a cunt.
Okay, so it's not as cutting a term there. It's just like instead of saying you fucking idiot, it's just like
well, you bollocks that one, mate. Way to go,
cunt.
Way to go,
that bloody cunt.
Yeah,
but yeah,
but here, why is that, man? Why is that word so divisive?
Oh,
here?
Here's a film we have not talked about.
It never got used for men.
Here you go.
Like, huh?
I want to interrupt because this is a good question about a film we have not talked about. If I Had a Hammer, is it going to get a Blu-ray streaming release?
Is it getting one? No. What? Who would do it?
All right, hey, shit. Forgive my ignorance. I don't understand the question. What is If I Had a Hammer?
If I Had a Hammer is one of Josh's films.
Okay.
I was gonna do the poster for it, but I couldn't get to it. If I Had a Hammer.
So, like, I find it so fascinating. I guess it's a lot like the comic book world. Then, so this is your movie that you made, right?
Wrote, produced, and directed.
Okay.
Feature length. My longest movie, 118 minutes.
Okay, and you can't like this is your thing, and you can't be like,
here it is.
Here's like, hey, can we have a Blu-ray? You can't.
Who would we ask for a Blu-ray? No one's releasing it.
No, well, who owns it? Who owns the rights?
I own it.
Okay, so you own the rights. All right. So is it just a matter of like you getting someone to distribute, or does it need to be like up-resed because of when it was made? Like when was the movie made? Like that could be another thing.
It was quote unquote released in 2001. It was shot in 35 millimeter.
Oh, okay.
Yes, to do.
So when though? So you said I like your quote unquote. When did you shoot that movie? What year? If you don't mind, like
I shot. Principal photography was 1999, and it took me all of 2000 and into 2001 to complete the post-production.
Fuck. Why am I the only one talking here? Keith, I thought you were the co-host. I'm starting to...
Look, sometimes you guys come up with really cool questions.
That's why we have panels. I like doing the whole panel thing.
Oh, fair enough.
I mean, you look, you and your mom are very entertaining.
I love your mom. She's so awesome. But let's get back to the comments. Let's see, where are we? Valiant said his thing. Tickle Trunk says, so Xena and Gab were in college.
Yeah, no, they were just experimenting.
They were lesbians until graduation.
Yeah, right.
You could also say they were prison gay.
Right? There you go.
Well, Rob did have the coming out episode written, and it was right after Ellen came out of the closet. And Rob Tappert, in his infinite wisdom, felt that Xena and Gabby should come out of the closet. And I was to direct this episode. And so I read the script, which I found offensive. And so did the co-producer in New Zealand. Anyway, another lesbian woman. And luckily, Universal read the script and went, nobody's coming out of any closets in this show.
So I want to say, like, I don't know if you noticed, and again, we all know my mom is in here. because of my age and everything, that whole Ellen thing, that was like, it was either my senior year of high school or my freshman year of college. It was like right around that time. And I have a gay brother, you know, and I've been divorced twice, and he's married to the same man for the last fucking 20 years or whatever. Mom, you can correct me in the chat. So like he cracked the code to life, not me. I can't judge or whatever. But back then at that time, how it was, you know, raised and it being the 90s and like Ellen coming out, like there was a negative, like I saw it because like I said, I was either a senior or in high school or a freshman in college, and like it was like people were talking about that, you know, and that's the, I don't know, the demographic or whatever they seem to go after. Do you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like,
oh, hold on,
I can't
remember.
Hear. Did this break? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, there you are.
Start over, Josh. I'm sorry.
Well, she worked at a bookstore in the show.
Yeah.
And the manager of the bookstore was Bruce Campbell. And when she came out of the closet and all of her friends were friendly and wonderful and upbeat and it's great, they used Bruce's character to be the one who did not accept it, who said, I cannot be your friend anymore, and you cannot babysit for my children anymore, and I won't have anything to do with you anymore. And it's a great, great scene. Bruce and Ellen are just awesome in that scene.
Wow.
So,
we need
and
a
he
link
said,
of that shit. Screw the Kevin Sorbo scene. Like we need come on. Who's our Jamie? If this was the Joe Rogan podcast, like, who's our Jamie? Get that up.
Okay, so
Anyway.
Mr. Tickle Trunk says, "Who is this Josh guy, and when is he replacing Gary?" See, Kyle says, "I was a giant Callisto fan. She was for me." Dork Knight's mom.
What was her name? Hudson? Wait, Callisto was Hudson. I never directed her. Hudson. Yeah, she was beautiful. Crazy.
Let's see. S says, "Does Josh have any upcoming projects he can tell us about? Is a new book of essays on the horizon? Are you trying to get a new movie together?"
Yes, breaking news. The Bill Bond story starring Bruce Campbell. I'm telling you. The only thing that
take my money. Take my money now.
Yeah, take my money now.
I mean, Bruce will be great as Bill Bonds.
Fuck yeah.
He's perfect.
There's a video in the private chat. A link to a video.
Okay, thank you.
I'll check. Yeah. Keith sent a video. Kyle, you're going to have to. Yeah, Keith. Kyle, you're going to have to show it because I can't show it on my computer right now. Please, Kyle, be there.
This is the Bill Bonds thing, or
it's the Bill Bonds footage from.
He does drop a little language in the video.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that's silly.
Oh shit, I'm excited.
Fantastic. But here we go.
We keep reporting that the economy is improving, but the long run new jobs are still forming in this metropolitan Detroit area. Today, hundreds of people are expected to apply for car selling positions with Ford dealers. Also today, some poor people in Detroit are without a place to go. Tough shit. What the fuck does that mean? What the fuck? Kill this fucking thing. Oh, come on, Bill. I can't. Well, I don't know what it means. What the fuck does it mean? Are without a place to go. Oh my fuck God. Them. Let them go hungry. Come to your place. What is all this shit? What are those two fucking things mean?
Wrap it there, dude. Wrap it there. That's great stuff, man.
That's Bill Bonds.
Bruce Campbell will nail that. Are you kidding me?
Are you approaching this as a dramedy or what?
Yes. It's a dramatic comedy. Yes.
Oh God! Please make this happen.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Bruce is interested.
Whew.
Bruce is interested. He hasn't read the script because I won't let him read it till it's done. But I got the first draft done, and I feel good. So that doesn't mean shit.
If you know, you didn't
I want
know,
to thank Script Doctor for joining us. He had to leave. Steven, if you got to go ahead, buddy. Don't stick around just for us. We love you, man.
Thank you.
Nice
to meet you,
and
Josh.
I did want to introduce. Yes, I'm glad you got to meet him. This is Valiant Renegade, a good friend of ours, Josh.
Yes, hello.
I think he's got some questions for you.
Yes.
Well, no, I'm just happy I've made it home.
No, you're completely useless. Thanks, Valiant.
Yes, I know. Thank you so much.
You're like tits on a boar.
I know. 5-day-old cow pie, all that good stuff. No, I was just gonna say, look, fan of your work. I mean, I remember I was probably maybe about 17 when all that, the Hercules and the Xena Warrior Princess stuff was going on, and I mean, I remember watching that every week. My group of friends and I, we enjoyed the hell out of those shows. You know, it was a great series. I enjoyed it. Hearing you talk about the whole lesbian aspect of, you know, what would happen with those characters and all, it had me cracking up, because probably every 17-year-old boy like me was like watching that show with those two characters going, do it. I mean, it was so good that I don't know if I just thought about this story when you were talking about this. I remember one of my best friends, you know, like most 17-year-old kids that went to Catholic school at that point, everybody had porno tapes somewhere stashed in their room, right?
I gotta know. Are we the same age?
You have any real friends?
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's true.
Like, yeah,
True.
I gotta know. I'm 42. How old are you? Because like
42.
Oh yeah, see this, like, I'm like, dude, he's like, is he reading my mind? He's
Yes.
like,
You guys are kids to us.
42. No, but I remember one of my best friends, like, we used to watch Xena every week. We spun off from Hercules like most people did. They were just great fun, well written, just entertaining shows. They were great old television. But I mean, it even got to the point where it's like, you know, every kid back then had a porno tape somewhere in their house. And my buddy had his 2 porno tapes, old VHS tapes, with the sticker on the side, the white sticker with the marker on it. One of them said Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, and the other one was Xena Warrior Princess. Of course, there was none of that on there. But we wished there was.
Yes.
So, no, in all seriousness, no. Thanks for having me on. This was great, just to come meet you, and just to tell you what a fan I was. And I would love to see those shows get a proper remastering treatment for, you know, Blu-ray, 4K, whatever. I know it's harder with those shows that were shot at that time period, you know, depending whether they were they done on actual, was it 35 millimeter film?
That's what he said, 35 millimeter.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so they potentially could be. I'll keep my fingers crossed. Who holds the rights to those?
Universal.
It's still Universal. Okay.
So it's Universal.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, folks. I missed the early part of the show. I was running around in the car for about an hour, and but no, that'd be great to see them do it. Hopefully, they dig back in the library and bring that up, because I would absolutely buy a box set of that, and hopefully, you will get to do. You know, some director commentary on that. I would love to hear it.
Ask him some questions, man, because I've been asking.
I did on the DVD. I did commentary on the DVDs.
I'm going to need to go find the old DVD set then. Yeah, definitely. But I love that kind of stuff, you know, when folks like you come back and talk about it, because I think as time goes on, like it's fascinating listening to you today, because I know as time goes on, you work on a project like that, you're so involved in it, perspective changes over time. And I don't know, I mean, as time went on, are you looking back at these projects more fondly? And I apologize if I'm repeating questions from earlier.
It was great. I had a wonderful time doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I thought even though I'd gone to Hollywood to make movies, and ended up really as a TV director. I mean, I kept making my indies movies, but I thought the TV direction thing would go on forever. And I
Did you even work on?
Failed to take into consideration that I was in Hollywood.
Didn't you work on the Highway Patrol? True Stories of the Highway Patrol, wasn't that it?
Yeah, that was before Hercules.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know. I remember that show.
You did some good episodes on that.
Real Stories of the Highway Patrol.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
remember
did
that
the I did the reenactments in the first season.
Good stuff, man. Hey, I want to share a photo of you I took with Jason Pankoki and my ex-wife at your birthday in Chicago when you were there for the Chicago Underground Film Festival.
Is that where I'm making a stupid face?
I love this fucking photo of you, dude. And it's the Blood Money shirt. That was you and me hanging out back in '97 in Chicago.
Wow.
That was a fun night.
My senior year in high school.
All right, guys. Hey, I have to eat and urinate and all kinds of things. So it's been a great pleasure.
While we're on the show.
Right? We'll probably, we'll definitely get more views.
I want to thank you for being on, Josh. Oh, Mr. Tickle Trunk, thank you again. We need this movie. Take my money. Well, the problem is you just sent the money to me, Tickle Trunk, for our show.
Okay, bye, everybody. Bye.
Josh.
Take care. For after the credits, Josh, so I can properly
Okay, well, let's get to the fucking credits.
All right, here they come.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Pop Culture Minefield. If you've enjoyed the show, please remember to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Remember, you can find us at Pop Culture Minefield on both Facebook and Instagram. Thank you again.